Good morning, ladies and gents. I should have finished 5 minutes ago, so I'll see you later. I'm going to make it quick. I've got 15 minutes, and I've only got half a dozen slides, so I'll quickly whiz through them. I'm going to be talking about the operational experience that we've had over the past 35 years with DP vessels, where we started in the early 80s, where we are today, and a bit of tongue-in-cheek sort of story of evolution. It's not pinpointing at anybody or any company, but it's a collection of incidents which I've put together to make a little bit of a story and summarise them in a quick conclusion. Background history, I mean, the old vessel there, that's the Lowland Cavalier. That was my first DP vessel in the 90s. I didn't realise until I grabbed these pictures off the internet last week that that boat was actually built in the 70s. She's still in operation today as far as I'm aware. Certainly I surveyed it about 2 or 3 years ago, did trials on it. She's put butter on my bread, both as a crew member and as a consultant, and I was very pleased to see her still working. Of course, then you've got the 21st century vessel. That's an animation I've grabbed off the net. I think it's a DOF vessel, but it just goes to show what we had 30, 35 years ago and what we're dealing with today. There's been a lot of transition, both in terms of the way we operate these vessels, the way the technology's changed, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So where are we today? Well, we've still got the old vessels, still operable, but we're requiring large capex to stay at work, being replaced by new tonnage. We've got a larger owner market than in the 80s. When we started off, there was quite a small market and everybody talked together. We've got a larger fleet, again, starting off in the 80s with maybe in the hundreds of vessels. Now we're into 5,000, 6,000 vessels. I really don't know, but that's the best estimation. If anyone can tell me an exact number, I'll be pleased to hear it. And of course, we've got larger crew requirement, for all these vessels. So we've got a mix of experience from guys who were doing DP back in the 90s to guys that are just starting out now and taking the desk for the first time. And then on top of that, we've got higher expectations of the vessels, both in terms of their performance as assets and also the crews that serve upon them. So there's a number of different strings being pulled here. So I'm going to take this story into account as we start off. We start looking at vessels which we've been looking at these vessels for 30 years, and there's a new operator in town. He's joined the DP market because everyone else is getting DP vessels. So we need to keep up to the current market trend. Let's get a DP vessel. Not really too sure what they're doing, but we know we'll just go and buy a boat. And the first thing is we start putting maybe some inexperienced crew on there. And what happens then? Well, crew competency. There's a mixture of good, bad, ugly. Taking, again, delivery of our new vessel, we employ a cost-effective crew because we've got tight margins on a charter rate. And what happens? We're straight into blackouts, loss of position incidents, all these sort of things. Something which, if you've been in DP operations, you would have seen many, many times. These crews, they've taken delivery of this new vessel. They don't know what they're doing sometimes. If you take an operator that thinks it can operate these vessels like it has done traditional OSVs, that's where the problem starts. They probably haven't got ETOs on board. They're probably just putting an electrician. So when we've got these electrical problems with these high-tech pieces of equipment, they don't actually know what they're looking at. So we've perhaps got a low competency level on board these vessels when they first come in out. And so we've got problems with warranty issues, which, stuff that should have been fixed in the yard. And straight away, we're into immediate reputation management issues. If any of you can cast your mind back over the past 10 years, I don't think you have to go too far to think about vessels which have come out into the market straight away off hire. And how did that happen? And I know many vessel owners have seen their vessels sitting alongside for 6 weeks, wondering why they're paying a mortgage and it's not earning money. Well, let's go back further in the story. Okay, before we've even taken delivery of the vessel, we've got a technical problem. Why have we got these technical problems? Well, we might have had this vessel built off the shelf, and we went up to the yard and said, right, build us that ship, and we'll have that one, and we'll have it in blue, please. And we've trusted the yard. We've gone up there with a big bag of cash and say, go on, build me that ship. And we've said, we'll come back in 18 months later when it's finished. We've completely trusted the yard to build this vessel for us. And it's an unsupervised project because we didn't want to spend any money on project management. And so we're taking the vessel over and wondering why we got these problems. We can probably take the story back a bit further, actually, into the basic design. And when I say errors, that's probably the wrong word, but certainly better configuration. We would have had this basic design, and we would have given it to an engineer to do the detailed engineering. And the guy that's doing the detailed engineering, he would have had the class regs book, whether it would be whatever he's going to do with that. He's going to design the systems to the class regulations. But he's probably not actually going to think about the operability of the vessel. And I mean, things I can sort of think about are the configuration with 3 generators and stuff like that, with a switchboard. And you might have one generator that's on one side of the board, and that means when that generator is not working for maintenance or whatever, you're off hire because you can't be on DP2. So I'm saying we should be learning from these things and actually doing a bit more planning in the design stage. But you can actually take that one step further back into the concept and capability. Who had the concept for the vessel in the first place? And what criteria did we set for the capability? Because a number of times I'm having clients coming up to me and saying, I want to put this vessel in with this so-and-so client. Can you do a gap analysis between what this vessel can do and what the actual client wants? So what would you actually want the vessel to do in the first place? And I think a lot of people focus on, right, we want a vessel that's got X thousand square metres of deck space, a 50-ton crane, but we're not actually thinking about, we want it to hold station in 30 knots of environment, and then once we've decided that we want it to keep station in 30 knots of environment, sizing the thrusters to match the model of the vessel, and then sizing the engines to match the thrusters and the other ancillary power supplies that you need. So I think the story goes right back to the beginning. So I told you I'd be quick, because I know it's a coffee break next. The conclusions. We can sort many problems out at the design stage. We've been watching this go wrong for 35 years, and I'm scratching my head thinking why we're still not doing it. DP competence comes from experience, and the highest bidders will buy that competence at the expense of those that cannot afford it. So, big companies are going to pay money to get the best crews, and I can tell you that the best money at the moment for DP operators will be offshore Brazil on DP semis. So that's where a lot of the key experience is at the moment. The industry will demand higher levels of assurance from vessel owners, both in terms of technical capability of vessels and crews that serve upon them. And finally, for everybody who's not a member of an oil company here, they're going to have to pay fair value for it.